All right, sports fans, we welcome in Dr. Melvin Lee Stanley Sr., also known just appropriately, affectionately as Doc Stanley, a longtime friend of the program, a longtime friend of myself. Doc, how are you? How's everything going?
I'm doing well. I think everybody here is sort of happy. The opening of New York City, and so it's everybody's on a fresh new page, and hopefully the opening of some sports venues that have long been closed.
I wanted to get your take as someone that has had a really interesting career, not only as a journalist, but also as a former police officer, a retired police officer. Doc, what's going on in the world right now, and what do you think the message needs to be?
Well, I mean, the message has always been LOVE. Um, you go back to Dr. King, and you always want to be judged by the content of your character and not the color of your complexion. It's moving. I'm working down in the area, um, right across the street from Union Square Park, and the protests have been coming up every day. It was kind of a rewarding, chilling experience to see the unity through this unfortunate incident that's come about. Um, it's sad and touching, and it's sad for what consequences have brought this thing about. But it's touching to see the unity of everybody. I mean, you could understand somewhat the reaction in Minneapolis, but to see the reaction not only domestically but internationally. But I think we do have a situation now where we don't have guys who understand what the job is about. The job is about protecting and serving, not shooting and killing. So a cartoon the other day was kind of sad, and the police officer is a white police officer is speaking to a black kid. What do you want to be when you grow up? And he says, I want to be alive. Um, we understand that athletes are role models, and you embrace the fact that these guys have done that. They're standing up, they're talking about the situation.
I know you've always covered all sports, and I love listening to the stories, especially for boxing and our admiration of Muhammad Ali. Of course, not only is a fantastic boxer, maybe the greatest of all time, but also, again, for everything that he did for this country, I think as a pioneer. I'm pretty sure he would be very proud of retired NBA player Steven Jackson and the work that he's been doing lately. And the same could be said, I think, for another NBA star that's really emerged the last week, and that would be Steph Curry, who's out there, like you said, with a number of other NBA players and protesting. And it's been interesting to see, like we talked about earlier, how much the sports world has really been involved in trying to affect change.
Curry stepping forward is no surprise. I mean, if you know his family, everybody tells us what a great shooter he is. His dad, Del Curry, could light it up too. But athletes have always been role models, and you're right. It's good to see because I've said that sadly enough, when it comes to black athletes, they admire, they respect, they want to be like Ali, but so few are. So few speak out. And we're not having to speak out, but then again, so few you can find in the black or Latin. Well, Latins go back to the neighborhoods, but so few can you find in the neighborhoods. So few feel an association to go back and give back. But Ali, you can't put into words what Ali was about, and I think he typifies the first time I ever heard Larry Brown talk about Dr. J. Jr. I was going into the locker room, and I heard Larry talking, and I caught the end of the conversation. He said he's even a greater superstar off the court than he is on the court. And that's Ali. I've been blessed by the grace of God. Of course, we're all great. Wonderful things come from. We were we had a little buddies, and service to others is the rent you pay for your room on earth. That's Ali. And Ali wasn't about black and white. Ali was about helping other people. He was there for meetings and organizations, but he always was aware and conscious of the needs of his people. And sometimes we get a situation where it's nepotism. When blacks help, Ali was always there. And my problem that there are not enough black athletes. Now Have we been unfair to say Mike didn't speak out? Well, Mike, you pay Michael Jordan to play basketball. You pay these guys to play the sport, and everybody couldn't be Ali. We'd love to have a world full of Alis, but they all couldn't be Ali. But there are a lot of guys who do things quietly. Mike made a lot of donations and did a lot of things for a lot of organizations that he just, it wasn't publicized. So, in this case, like I said, when you talk about Ali, I mean, who wouldn't be sad to see the state of our situation now? Ali and King and DeBoris. I mean, you look at the guys who, Rosa Parks, the stand she took, and you look at Rosa Parks' situation. She was right. She was sitting where she was supposed to be sitting, but a white person wanted that seat. And white privilege has always been the situation. She got locked up. She got locked up for sitting where she was supposed to be in the back of the bus. And we look at situations today. We pray and hope for changes. It's good to see certain athletes step up. LeBron has always been one to vocal. Charles Barkley has been one that's always been vocal, always been adamant about situations and spoke about them. So he's another guy. I think he was one of the few guys back in those days that did speak out. Isaiah did a lot of stuff too. But like I'm saying, we can't expect everybody to be Ali, but there's an obligation that you have. And I think that a lot of the black athletes who admire Ali, who respect Ali, have to be like Ali in getting into the black neighborhoods and getting affiliated with their people, helping the community.
I'm hoping that at this point, we're starting to have those appropriate conversations and dialogue. And I think that in order for there to be change, we finally have to reach that point where you start to have these conversations that might be uncomfortable for some.
I saw a video yesterday, and it was a garage entrance, Black Lives Matter, rest in peace, George. And it was two white girls, and they said, me, my sister, and our neighbor, we did this. And I called my mother and my father and told them we did it. And they told us to get rid of it, wash it down. Wash it down. And she said, now I know I'll probably get a beating for it, but I'm not going to wash it down. She said, but this is the problem with racism. Here we are trying not to move in that vein, and our parents want to keep us on that same road. So, gentlemen, thanks a lot for the opportunity to chat and talk. Thanks a lot for the opportunity of you guys showing your concern, showing your class. And it's no surprise that the world was full of guys like you. I told Bob the other day that great song by Sam Cooke, what a wonderful world it would be, So thanks a lot for the opportunity. A change is going to come. I thought about that last night. I want to have you guys on the radio show. 1964, Sam Cooke, inspired by Bob Dylan, who the answer is blowing in the wind. And Sam felt there was a need for a black man to have a song about the movement and civil rights. And he sang that song in 1964. The change hasn't come yet. And we're talking 1964. And there was changes need to be done before 1964. But the change hasn't come yet. But, the great line, God is in control. So it'll work out for us. So you're glad to see, like I said, to leave. God has a plan, God's in control, but you really heighten and feel good about the world, and let me tell you something, man, there's more black or white people out there in those protests sometimes than black people, and you want to salute them, because the great line of Roberto Clemente, greatest right fielder of all time, I am my brother's keeper, dovetailed by the great line from Nelson Mandela, and my brothers come in all colors. You guys, thanks a lot for being my brothers. Thanks for having me on the show. God bless you and trust in God.
Doc Stanley, Trust in God Radio Network. Thanks again, Doc, for joining us.
Appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. And, hey, better days are coming. Better days are coming.